So let me start from the beginning to show you how to get to this page. Okay. So once you log into your Azure account, you can go to create. You can click on create resource from here, and find whatever you want to develop in here, right? And then so you can look into virtual machines. You can look into virtual machines, for example. Okay, this is driving me crazy. Anyway, you'll find virtual machine out there. You click on virtual machine in here, and then go to create virtual machine, and you add all the details you want in here. If you don't have resource group again, you can just create one. Clicking here, you can create one, or if you already have one created one before, you just click select it basically, and then you add the name of your virtual machine. You select the region. As you can see, we've talked about the regions before in terms of like Middle East, Europe, Asia, Canada, and UK, US. So I've just selected the Europe, UK, South for now. And then you select the image, which is the operating system that you want to run on the virtual machine, on your machine, basically. If you select all, if you view all, it will tell you which one, like it will show you more options in there in terms of the available ones, okay? But for now, what I'll do is, okay, I'll keep it to the Ubuntu one. And then you select the size of your virtual machine. There are different sizes. So there is like that's I think the cheapest one, which is 0.5 gigabyte memory. There are more in here to go, and more prices basically. Depends on what you want from the virtual machine, right? From your machine. So in terms of the memory and like the aspects that you need in there. And then I'll just select, actually I'll select this one for now. So that would cost me 6.42 pound per month. And now I think this is where most of you have issue, or when you want to connect to your virtual machine, right? So so you select the password, right? And then you add your username and password that you need them. So in these, what you need to do, you using the password so you can connect through the SSH, right? I've already connected to my previous one, but I'll show you in a bit how. So, and here you can basically like select the impound if you want to be allowed like to all the ports to be selected. The SSH is the default one. You can select other ports as well, but basically what's allowing you here, it's public to access. It's not good for security practice basically. Once this is, if you want to test it and all stuff, you can leave it open. Otherwise you just disable this port basically, okay? So, and then you go to the desk in here. It tells you what type of disk you want in here. You can select like the standard SSD or HDD and or the premium one. Okay, and also the encryption type that you need in there. It's too much details, to be honest, for here. You can attach new disks and to pack up data on your virtual machine and stuff in here. In terms of networking as well, it tells you what is the filter subnet is, and all this stuff. So there's nothing to worry about in here, really. And you see here the impound still selected 2 of them. The network security group, put it to basics and stuff. So basically, we're doing these stuff just as an experiment. Once you go more in details, depends on what your organization needs and stuff, you modify those things. I'm just gonna skip those parts in here and click create. So it shows me a summary of what I choose in here, right? And yeah, it tells me like warning, like you have SSH ports open for the internet. It's all recommending for testing. If you want to change settings, go back to basic lab and just click create. So once that created, what I do is I open my terminal, or if you are using Windows, you can use a PuTTY. You can download this one. I'm using Mac, so it's easier for me to use the terminal to do this. So now the deployment in progress, and once it's deployed, it will give me an IP address where I can use it to access it through the SSH.
Mohammed, I've got a small question.
Sure.
So the thing is, the way you're running this VM, basically, are you saying that I mean, if you talk about, I'm not sure whether I'm asking the right question either. So is it possible also to deploy it by using the CLI? Or it is only just going through this the interactive, which can be done.
Sorry, your question is not really clear.
Okay, so when you talk about the CLI, I mean, I was reading through the resources CLI command line interface. I mean, is it something different to what you're doing right now?
Yeah, it's different. So the CLI, so basically, the virtual machine, it's basically used, for example, to run databases, to run, it's like, have you used virtual machine before? It's like a proper, like computer or system deployed.
Yeah, it is a resource. It is a resource. All I'm saying is that can you also start the virtual machines by using a CLI, or no, you have to go through this window which you're doing
so
right
this now I'm just deploying the virtual. I'm just creating the virtual machine. So once I created the virtual machine, I need to connect to it using this API. API. So I've got a question here. So what is PuTTY? So PuTTY is a software you can use it to connect to, like, it's an open source terminal. Basically, it's like the terminal that you're using in here on Mac. So in order to connect through the SSH, right, you just click SSH and then what was the username? Yeah, bootcamp. So that's the username to this IP address. So connect through SSH to this username on this IP address. So you're just taking footprint. Once you do that, it shows you that you need to enter your password. Once I enter my password, it logged me into the bootcamp, to the bootcamp account. Okay, and then, so this is basically mostly Unix stuff. So you can make. So now I have a directory called Nour, all stuff. That's all on the virtual machine, right? So, where? Now it's connected in here. If you don't know how to connect to the SSH, you can click connect in here through SSH, and it will tell you here what to do. If you have a secret, a private key path, don't worry about this. So what I did here, I did just SSH to connect through the SSH to my bootcamp account on this API with IB, sorry, on the of this virtual machine. So you can see this is open the client for your choice. You can use PuTTY or other basically softwares that could be available online. So it tells you here how to connect to all these stuff. This is also here on Microsoft Layer. So this is how you can basically connect to what's called the virtual machine through the terminal. So now I established the connection. I have it ready, and now the virtual machine is working. So yeah. That's so there are so many comments here using Linux basically to it shows you how to like I'll try to upload some materials or like some cheat sheet for Linux like, comments basically. But
Okay.
I don't think you need it for now, but it's just to show you how to deploy the virtual machine.
Okay, one more question. You're talking about Linux now. Is it important for us that if we want to progress in this line of business, I mean, we are doing fundamentals, if we want to go further than that, we need to also know more about the Linux commands?
Basically, Linux command is so I don't think it's very hard. You can use like Linux. Is it Linux outright again?
L-E-N-U-X.
Yeah, L-E-N-U-X.
Sorry, L-I-N-U-X. L-I-N-U-X.
Yeah, L-I. Linux sheet. Yeah, so here's like this is most of the comments that you need to use them in there. So it tells you how to install softwares, how to um, create a file, create a folder, for like some comments, desk utilities, scripting, and how to use the like to create a PHP file, for example. So if I go here, I write nano, and then it opens this one. So I create like it is a Python file. That's just for example, and then just click yes, and then test Python.py. So here I have my Python file in here. Okay, so it shows you like, for example, how to do all these stuff, how to zip file, this file permissions, all this stuff. I'll upload this one as well for you if you want, guys. I don't mind.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I'll upload it as well. So yeah, this one basically it just shows you how basically to use Linux stuff in here, but you don't really need it for now. So the main focus for us now is on how to deploy the services on Azure. Okay.
Okay.
So I've created the labs I told you about, and I uploaded to one of them, and here's the other one. Instructions, labs. So both of them now on here. Go through them and let me know. I'm on the call with you. Once you finish, let me know. So we'll see how to do this. I'll upload as well the data sets while you start working on them. Okay, so in here, just to go through the labs straight with you. So here, you can read through this just to understand what the lab is about. And it tells you what the requirements is, what the objectives, create a pipeline to enable the flow of data from an application data to data warehouse, and create a prop storage as a service. Storage as a service is SaaS as well, to store large amount of unstructured data, to create linked services, service that contain connection strings that Data Factory use to runtime to connect to your Azure storage. and SQL database respectively, and also to create a scale database. So it shows you here what are the requirements. Resource group, that's for sure. And then you start with the data factory, data SQL database resource, and a storage account resource. It shows you here in the pictures, basically in the images, how in the figures, how to do all the steps that you need. Click on resource group in the home page and then click create. Add the name of your resource group. So it shows you all the stuff that you need in there, and how to create the data factory. Okay, and then inside the data factory, what are the steps in there? And then you create the SQL database. In the SQL database, I think there will be you also maximize the size of the data and all this stuff, and storage account. So that's the first part, is to create these two, and then the second part is all these stuff are the same. These stuff are the same. Okay.
Mohammed, can you just show us where this document is, if you don't mind, please? I may have missed this beginning part.
So this document I've uploaded to my to the instructions on my GitHub.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Just for those who doesn't have access to the
labs.
The labs, yeah.
And lab one document. Okay, yeah, I got it.
So I've uploaded them here, and also I'll upload them to Microsoft Teams now in a bit. And so, yeah, this one then. Okay, in here it shows you like.
So is it a lab one doc or lab 1-1 doc?
So you have, this is the first part of the lab, and this is the second part.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, let me close this one. And now here it shows you the instructions, basically explore the data rows and stuff. So what, as soon as you finish the first one, you will find a data set in here that's related to what you will be working on. Okay, so that data set, you will use it on the what's called on the lab. At the moment, I think what I have is, so yeah, I have the data set like this. So I need just to add it into CSV file for you, and yeah, we'll be ready to go. Okay. So if you start with the first lab, that would be great now. It would be good to start, right? If you want to start as well to create a virtual machine to see how to do virtual machine, I don't mind. So it's totally yours, your choice what to start with. But yeah, I will be here on the call. If you have any questions, just let me know. I'll be happy to help. Okay, Savira, I think you have a question.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, we're trying to create the storage following the walkthrough you sent earlier. It was for creating a resource group. I don't know how to do that. How to create resource group.
I just showed you. Whenever you try it, if you don't have a resource group, okay, what you can do is you can directly, like, let's say, storage account, right? So you're creating a storage account in here. So create storage account. If you don't have a resource group that's already exists, you can just click on create a new and add the name for it. That's it. And then like a new, and just click OK, and it will add it for you.
So I will now go back later to create the the resource group with that name. Is that what you're saying?
No, you can either create it through here or go to resource group in here, right, and then create a new one from here. So you can just add the name and create. Or if you are creating, you can create through the resource group itself or through the stages that you are going through, or like, for example, a the storage account or anything like that. So
Okay.
this
Thank
this
you.
this lab, you may see it later as well in the upcoming weeks, like once we get to the machine learning part or the data part. Okay, but it's very useful for you to get used to use the Azure one. So here I think yeah, I couldn't hear you, but I think for Windows you can either use the terminal or you can use PuTTY. No, it doesn't matter, to be honest. It depends what you are more comfortable with. Problem?